All right, so we're diving into this idea of voter apathy among Black women.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a puzzle, right? We're
Okay.
looking at this article, Understanding Voter Apathy, Why Some Black Women Don't Vote and Its Impact.
Right.
And using that to guide our deep dive today. And I think what's so interesting about it is that we're talking about a group that fought so hard for the right to vote.
You're absolutely right. It's not just apathy, in a vacuum.
Right.
We're talking about generations of activism,
Yeah.
culminating in
Yeah.
monumental achievements like the Voting Rights Act.
Exactly.
So why are some people choosing to stay home on Election Day?
Yeah, the article really jumps straight into it. It, talking about that historical context, even after the 19th Amendment.
Yeah.
Black women faced, a gauntlet of obstacles.
Yeah.
Literacy tests designed to fail.
Yeah.
Poll taxes they couldn't afford.
Ugh.
And outright intimidation at the polls.
I mean, it's crucial to remember that historical context because it creates a legacy of disillusionment when you're repeatedly told you have a right, but the system itself is rigged against you.
Yeah.
It can breed a deep distrust.
Absolutely. And that distrust doesn't just,
It doesn't just go away.
disappear overnight.
No.
The article really argues that even though the Voting Rights Act was a huge victory, we're still dealing with systemic barriers.
Yes.
The playing field isn't level.
Right. And some of these barriers might even seem neutral at first glance.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like voter ID laws, for example. While they might appear reasonable on their face, they disproportionately affect Black women
Right.
due to the socioeconomic inequalities that are, let's be honest, often a direct result of that same historical disenfranchisement.
It's a vicious cycle. The article highlights how even the cost associated with obtaining an ID, the time it takes to gather the necessary documents, can be a significant burden for those juggling multiple jobs, family responsibilities, just trying to make ends meet.
Yeah.
Voting becomes a luxury they can't afford.
And then we have gerrymandering,
Right.
which further erodes voting power.
Yeah.
Think about it. If Black communities are strategically carved up into different voting districts,
Right.
their collective voice is diluted,
Yeah.
making it harder to elect representatives who genuinely understand their concerns.
The article points out how that manipulation of district boundaries
Right.
can make people feel like their vote doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
It's no wonder some feel disillusioned.
And on top of those systemic barriers,
Yeah.
we have to consider the socioeconomic realities that many Black women face.
Right.
The article connects low voter turnout to issues like income inequality,
Yeah.
lack of access to quality education and health care,
Right.
and even employment disparities.
It's not hard to imagine that when you're struggling to put food on the table, keep a roof over your head,
Right.
engaging in the political process might not feel like a top priority.
Right.
Survival takes precedence.
Absolutely. And the article drives home the point that these socioeconomic challenges aren't just random occurrences.
Right.
They're often deeply intertwined with that historical legacy of disenfranchisement we talked about,
Yeah.
creating a complex web of interconnected issues.
Okay, so we've got historical baggage, systemic roadblocks, and the weight of socioeconomic realities. But the article doesn't stop there.
No.
It goes on to explore how cultural and community influences can also shape attitudes towards voting. And this is fascinating stuff.
It's not just about individual choices, right?
Right.
It's about the stories we inherit, the conversations we have around the dinner table,
Yeah.
the messages we receive from our communities.
There's this one anecdote in the article that really stuck with me.
Yeah.
It's about a woman whose grandmother always said that voting was pointless,
Interesting.
that politicians never actually helped their community, and that kind of generational narrative can have a profound impact on how someone views their own political participation.
Exactly. On the flip side,
Right.
imagine growing up in a family or community where voting is viewed as a sacred duty,
Right.
a way to honor those who fought for that.
Right.
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 It creates a completely different atmosphere.
And it's not just families.
No.
Think about the influence of community leaders.
Right.
If respected figures are actively engaged in the political process, encouraging others to vote, that can have a ripple effect.
But if those leaders express cynicism or apathy towards the system, that can send a powerful message, especially to younger generations who are still forming their own political beliefs.
So it's not just one thing.
No, it's not.
It's this whole ecosystem of influences.
Yeah.
But I think what's at the core of this whole discussion is this question of representation.
Yeah.
The article argues that if you don't see yourself reflected in the candidates or believe your vote will truly make a difference, why bother?
It's about more than just seeing someone who looks like you.
Right.
It's about feeling seen and heard, about believing that the people in power understand your lived experiences and will genuinely advocate for your needs.
And when that trust is lacking, when there's a disconnect between what politicians say and what they do, disillusionment sets in.
That's why the lack of diverse representation in positions of power becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right.
It perpetuates this cycle of disengagement. You know, because the system itself doesn't feel legitimate or responsive to the needs of Black women.
The article doesn't shy away from the consequences of that disengagement.
Right.
Low voter turnout has real-world impacts, particularly when it comes to the allocation of resources and the development of policies that directly affect Black communities.
Imagine a scenario where Black women are consistently underrepresented at the polls. What happens? Their needs and priorities are less likely to be reflected in the decisions made by elected officials. We're talking about everything from funding for schools and healthcare to investments in infrastructure, community development.
That's like a domino effect. Low voter turnout leads to underrepresentation, which then leads to policies that don't adequately address the concerns of Black communities, further fueling that sense of apathy and disillusionment.
It's a cycle that needs to be broken.
It's a cycle that needs to be broken, and that's where we'll pick up in part 2.
Exactly.
We'll delve into the efforts being made to empower Black women voters and increase their participation in the political process.
Because despite all these challenges, there's hope on the horizon.
There is. And it's not just about numbers. It's about creating a system where Black women have a genuine voice in shaping their own destinies.
Exactly.
So we'll be right back after a short break to explore those solutions in more detail.
Looking forward to it. So we've painted kind of a stark picture. You know, historical disenfranchisement, persistent barriers, and the weight of socioeconomic realities, all playing a role in this complex issue of voter apathy.
It can feel heavy, can it?
It can.
But the article doesn't leave us hanging. It shifts gears to highlight the work being done to empower Black women voters. And honestly, that's where things start to feel a bit more hopeful.
It is inspiring to see so many organizations and individuals stepping up to address this challenge head on. It's not just about getting more Black women to vote. It's about dismantling the systems that have kept them marginalized for so long.
At the Black Women's Roundtable was one group that really stood out to me. They're not just talking the talk. They're advocating for concrete policy changes.
Absolutely.
Like expanded early voting, automatic voter registration, and making Election Day a national holiday.
What I find impressive about the Black Women's Roundtable is that they recognize the need to address the root causes of voter apathy. It's not enough to just encourage people to vote. If they're facing a mountain of obstacles, they're working to create a more equitable system overall.
They're also providing a ton of direct support to Black women voters.
Absolutely.
From voter registration drives to get out the vote campaigns to educational workshops that demystify the whole process.
And then you have organizations like Higher Heights for America, who are laser focused on building the political power of Black women by supporting them as candidates.
That representation piece is so crucial, isn't it?
It is.
If you don't see yourself reflected in the people making decisions that impact your life, it's hard to feel like your voice matters.
Absolutely. Higher Heights understands that. And they're not just helping Black women get elected. They're providing ongoing support and mentorship to help them succeed once they're in office.
Right.
It's about building a sustainable movement for change led by Black women.
And it's not just about these big national organizations either.
No.
The article highlights how grassroots groups and individuals are making a huge difference in their own communities. I'm talking about the folks organizing voter registration drives at their churches.
Yeah.
The college students canvassing their neighborhoods.
Right.
The social media influencers using their platforms to spread awareness. It's all adding up.
It's a reminder that change happens from the ground up.
Yeah.
As much as from the top down.
Exactly.
And speaking of social media, it's been such a game changer in terms of empowering Black women voters.
Totally. Those online communities and campaigns are incredible. They're sharing information about voting, providing resources, and mobilizing people to take action.
It's become a space for Black women to connect, share their experiences, debate ideas, and build solidarity around the issue of voting rights.
Right.
Social media has created this whole new avenue for political engagement that wasn't available before.
And it's not just one-way communication.
Right.
It allows for genuine dialogue and the sharing of personal stories, which I think is so powerful.
Right.
You're not just hearing statistics or talking points. You're hearing real people's lived experiences.
That sense of community and shared purpose can be incredibly motivating, especially when you consider how tiring it can be to fight for social justice, knowing you're not alone. Being surrounded by people who share your values and commitment to change, that can make all the difference.
Like that saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Exactly.
And I think that's what we're seeing happen right now.
Yeah.
Black women are coming together, organizing, mobilizing, and using their collective power to make a difference.
And that's what makes me optimistic. Black women have historically been the backbone of so many social justice movements. And when they show up at the polls, they have the power to change the political landscape. We've seen it time and again.
So where do we go from here? What does all this mean for the listener, for anyone who's been tuning in to this deep dive?
I think it's a call to action. We've explored the complexities of voter apathy among Black women. But we've also seen the incredible work being done to overcome those challenges.
No matter who you are or where you come from, you can be a part of this movement.
Absolutely.
You can be a part of creating a more just and equitable society. So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
From the historical roots of voter apathy to the systemic barriers that still stand in the way. And then we shifted to, those glimmers of hope. The organizations and individuals working tirelessly to empower Black women voters.
It's been a journey, for sure.
It has.
But one that underscores the power of collective action and the unwavering spirit of those fighting for change.
As we've been unpacking all this, one thing keeps coming back to me. It's bigger than just getting more Black women to vote. It's about something much more fundamental.
I think I know where you're going with this. It's about power, isn't it?
Exactly. It's about ensuring that Black women have a real voice, a seat at the table, where decisions are being made. Decisions that directly impact their lives, their families, their communities.
Because when their voices are silenced, when their perspectives are missing from the political conversation, we all lose out.
Think about it. The innovative ideas, the unique solutions, the lived experiences that we miss out on.
Absolutely.
When a significant portion of the population is disenfranchised.
It's not just about fairness. It's about effectiveness.
Right.
We need those diverse voices, those different perspectives to create policies that truly work for everyone.
The article really drives home the point that increasing voter participation isn't just about numbers. It's about shifting the balance of power, creating a system that is genuinely representative of the people it serves.
And that requires more than just policy changes. It demands a cultural shift, a change in how we think about power, representation, and democracy itself.
We need to challenge our own biases, confront our own complacency, and actively work to dismantle the systems of oppression that have kept Black women marginalized for far too long.
It's a tall order, no doubt.
It is.
But the stakes are incredibly high.
The future of our democracy depends on it.
It does.
If we want a society that is truly just and equitable, we need everyone engaged, everyone participating, everyone's voice heard.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listener with a sense of hope. And a clear call to action.
First, remember that your voice matters.
Yes.
No matter who you are, where you come from, your background, you have the power to make a difference.
That power starts with education, understanding the issues, the candidates, and how the system works.
And then take that knowledge and turn it into action.
Right.
Volunteer for a campaign. Donate to an organization working on the ground. Have those sometimes uncomfortable conversations with friends and family about the importance of voting.
Use your social media platform to amplify the voices of Black women. Spread awareness about voting rights. And engage in respectful dialogue to help shift the narrative.
Every action, no matter how small it might seem, contributes to building a more just and equitable society. A society where everyone has the opportunity to thrive.
So let's go out there.
Yes.
Make our voices heard and build that future together.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope it's given you some food for thought and, most importantly, inspired you to take action.
Remember, the fight for justice is a marathon, not a sprint. But with persistence, dedication, and a belief in the power of collective action. We can create a world where every voice counts.
Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep pushing for a better world.
Absolutely.